Well, hey everybody. A serious post today. Um, you know that AVN is coming up in just a couple weeks, just about 3 weeks from now. But Casey Storm, a fellow porn star, is doing some fantastic work. So she's actually doing like a documentary on domestic violence in the porn industry. And I think it's probably a really not highly addressed subject, even amongst ourselves and our peers or whatever, because the same stigma that hits domestic violence victims in general population, where um, the victim or the survivor, whatever you want to call it, um, feels shame and embarrassment and whatnot, and they don't come forward. It's double whammy for those in the porn industry because, again, not only do we have the same stigma that the general population has, but then we also have the general population that feel like it's part of our business and that we are in a dirty underworld and whatnot. Or the other double-edged sword is that for many porn stars, we have an image to try to maintain and a fantasy to sell, and the harsh reality of things that happen in the real world kind of taint that image. So that's part of the reason why a lot of individuals don't speak up about domestic violence and the warfare that goes on in your own home, let alone dealing with the stresses of the adult industry and the fan base and the creepy people and the mean people and the blogs and all that. So it's going to be awesome to sit down with Casey at AVN and give my story. As she said, there's going to be a couple other big name porn stars that are going to come out and give you guys all the truth. I think I've said it a couple times in a post here that I didn't really say anything for a long time or speak out. My decision happened to be the fact that when I saw that Casey was going to be doing this, that it was really important, especially in the year 2018 and 2019, the attack on sex workers and the adult industry in general, from government down, how important it is that the victims of domestic violence doesn't feel like that they're even going to be buried even deeper. I myself will be telling my story of 7.5 years of living with an animal, as my girl Sonia Blaze would refer to him as. That it's kind of crazy. It's kind of weird about when you wake up every day in that nightmare, and some days are good, some days are not so good, and some days are horrific. So if I can give my experience to somebody younger, because again, 1 out of 6 women will be battered and murdered by somebody that they know. Those numbers aren't the greatest. But what I can do from my end, besides giving my experience, is that I want to put my money where my mouth is. And with the government shutdown going on, nobody realizes that silently, while government has been halted, a very important bill for the protection of domestic violence victims in the United States had come to an expiration, so to speak. So if you go to the National Network to End Domestic Violence, that is where half of the money I'm going to ask you guys for is going to go to. The other half I'm going to send to the Red Umbrella Project. Please follow both of them and see what is going on with even the attack on sex workers worldwide. It's been going on forever, but the last 2 years has been really tough. Not only does that affect the brothels and escorts and massage parlors and whatnot, but it also highly affects the porn industry as well. FOSTA, SESTA laws that will take effect on January 1st is again attack on civil liberties in the United States. I don't think that my right to choose how I want to make a living, I'm not robbing people. It it has no bearing upon somebody else's life. This government was supposed to be founded on the separation of church and state. So if you feel like something's immoral, it is not your place to judge. Live your life, stay in your lane. So from January 1st to January 31st, every clip, every membership, every text message from Sex Panther or Chat Star, every phone call from Sex Panther, Night Flirt, any webcam session, I'm donating $1 for every sale. And at the end of January, on January 31st, come February 1st, I'll tally everything up and donate half to the National Network to End Domestic Violence and the other half to Red Umbrella. So if you guys don't want to buy porn, and I'm not telling you you have to, you can go and donate to both of those organizations on its own as well. And I ask that you do this in the name of your brothers and sisters, because again, men do suffer from domestic violence as well. It's just not as prevalent. And then again, if you know somebody who is in an abusive relationship, I know how many family and friends of mine tried to help or tried to persuade me to leave the situation. It's a very bizarre situation. But what I would say is, if they won't leave the situation, then you call the police. I can tell you that it's better that they're mad at you than one day you wake up and they're no longer here. So again, visit the website for the National Network to End Domestic Violence. I believe it is NNEDV. But again, you can Google it too, and you can find the link, as well as it'll be on my Instagram. And I'm going to place the Red Umbrella up as well. And I ask that you guys, whether you're a believer in the adult industry or not, we live in a country that I know I have, including my son, served the United States in a military capacity for the rights of free speech and the pursuit of happiness, and how one person lives does not reflect upon you, and it's not your place to decide what you feel is right or wrong. So with that said, I ask that you guys be good humans, be good to each other. Namaste.